Julian's project, I should say. Anyone? Isn't like SSR Chinese idol in his design? That's interesting. Yeah. What is icon? Is a Chinese idol. Am I right? It's the tennis idol. Chinese idol. Yeah. Oh, a Chinese idol. Oh, right. Okay. Interesting. Um. Okay. So I think so. What's the SpongeBob? Is that
It's
the
my
name?
the user ID.
User ID. Got it. Okay. Cool. Because I think that threw me a bit thinking in terms of like going from elderly to young people. I sort of like what? Okay. So I think at this stage it and so the name of the app that you've got. What's the name?
As
What
a
is it
story
called?
loom.
Story Loom. Okay. So and loom as in like as in a weaving. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
A weaving loom? Yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. So I think the overall functionality, so the looking at how you're kind of moving through, it's quite simplified, which is really great. If the text is really large and easy to read, it feels quite simple, which is excellent. Um, I think you could even kind of work to pare it back even a little bit further in terms of so down there you've got story loom, but then you've got really tiny text, which is obviously like a communicating what the app's about, but like perhaps someone with poor eyesight wouldn't be able to read that. So just yeah, those kinds of details. Um, I think probably the only other thing so just go through the app again. Text, voice, video. So that's hang on, just stop there. So help, listen, speak, secret, my. Okay, so the help is around connecting with doctors or
Yeah.
people who might be able to find doctors.
Mhm.
So doctors, TCM, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Psychiatry. Okay, yep, that sounds good. Department, da, 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 and location. Okay, good. And then listen. The listen section is about the history, knowledge, other gossip. So these are uploaded by other users, or
Yeah. Yeah.
they're uploaded by other people with the app.
Yes.
Okay. Um, they're not like podcasts or that kind of thing, or they are
Um.
history, knowledge.
Kind of like the story other people sharing, like have categories from to um different type.
Okay. I think so just in terms of these four icons that you've got here, they all feel aesthetically very different. So I would like when I look at them, I have very different associations, and I feel a little bit confused around what they all mean.
Yep.
So history, like when I see that, I'm thinking, oh, so is this like history lessons? Like are they about like
Like that.
historical events that have been
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Or like some community history or
Okay.
yeah.
Um, so I think what I would encourage you to think about here, so if this is about listening,
Yes.
then I think that the words that you're using, like the way you're describing these elements and the icons or graphics that's sitting along beside them, need to do a little bit more work to read as cohesive. So
Okay.
history could be around historical historical narratives or historical tales or history, like community histories, or like I think there just needs to be a little bit more to know exactly what that's
Oh,
about.
okay.
And the image, I think maybe even using just text rather than including these images, because all of the icons just feel like very different aesthetics, so
Yeah.
they're a bit confusing. The idea of gossip, the only thing I'd say around that is that it could be construed as leaning a little bit towards women rather than men, and I guess I would kind of like it could be social news, for example, so it could be termed something just a little bit more inclusive so that it doesn't feel kind of specifically female rather than all gender. And then what's sitting in other? What's happening in other here?
I don't know.
Okay, so I think you need to think through that. Like, so if this is about listening, so it could be, listening to, yes, and knowledge, or just like, I mean, yeah, they're just a bit, I think you need to think through a little bit more about what all these categories, like what exactly goes into these categories. Like other could be, so gossip or social news or something could be like other people, as in, people you don't know. And then you could have the fourth component rather than other, it could be like immediate family, like listening to stories from your immediate family, like your grandkids or your children, or your close relatives. So thinking about, yeah, because imagine if you were an old elderly person and you could go into like sound bites or recordings from your family and they're saved there and you could listen to them again and again. Like that would be a really lovely feature to include in the app. So which so I think just thinking through this section a little bit more, the listen section. Okay, then on to speak. What have we got to speak? Sorry, I'm just being hard and fast with my critique just to we're at the pointy end of the project. Okay, so this is text, voice, video. So these are pretty straightforward. You can text, you can click to start, visible to. So this would be
just like the story you share.
okay.
Which one can see the story that you share?
Okay. All contacts, secret. Okay. Okay. And you might have, so you could have, much like, I don't know about you, do you have like a WeChat or a WhatsApp, like family group chat?
Yes, I do.
Where everyone like in your family kind of like is on the thread and you post pictures and news and stuff.
Yeah.
So, it could be that some of these, like there's an idea of a family group or a friendship group, like you could create groups, but in a really simple way. So rather than visible to all, you could make it visible to the certain kind of communities within the app. It could also be visible to, let's say, like care staff, if we were to come back to thinking about the context of as a care environment. So yeah, okay. So that looks fairly straightforward. And what's that hot section? What's going on there?
Which one?
There was something said hot.
Oh,
In
in the listening.
No. Oh, okay. Okay, so you just sort of populated that with some content.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that I think that needs to be reworked a little bit, and then just go back to the main menu. And so what's secret?
There's like the thing you post someone's comments and who added your friends and your secret stories and the group chat and personal chat.
Okay, cool, cool. All right. So in your say you go click on my secret
I
at the top.
have I haven't to the next page. There I
Uh-oh.
can see see the my secret, all my post. There, if you
Okay.
choose to show the public after a year, there is a function you can click.
Okay. Okay. So that makes sense. For the purposes of like communicating the app, I would change the name, user ID, just to make it a little bit more uh,
Serious.
communicate
Okay.
probably a little bit more easily. But yeah, I think there's a few things to kind of work through there, and obviously just finishing off some of the links, but it's coming together pretty well. Jiwen, I would just one last thing I would say
Hmm.
is maybe the icon, the logo. I think the name is really nice and poetic, but I think the logo and just some visual cue, like maybe it's in those icons that you use in the Listen app or something, just needs to just tell us a little bit more about what the app's about. Because I think, like your peers, when I said, what does everyone think the app's about? There wasn't an immediate kind of cue. Like, yes, you've got that, graphic of an older person, but, we want some idea around like that it's about talking and listening, that it's
Okay.
about telling stories and it's about listening to stories. So this icon of two people like sort of talks about connection and care, but it's almost like I don't know if somewhere in this graphic could be like an ear, or like something around talking and listening. I don't know, which kind of was captured in a concept at some point earlier on when we were talking. So I think that just has to come through a little bit more strongly
Okay.
in the design, in the visual identity of the app.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah. Sorry, a lot of feedback, but it's coming along and it's really impressive given that you sort of, you know, changed direction and have been working very hard to get this up and running. So keep going. There's
Yeah.
just some little tweaks to sort of work through, but I think it's really coming along really nicely. So,
Okay.
yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks to you. And okay, who would like to go next?